So, Court of Crowns, this is the only game that's actually sponsored by the developer. They gave me a key for the demo, although since then, they gave me a key for this maybe 2 or 3 weeks back. Since then, you can now get this same game demo on Steam, as well as there's a web version hosted on itch.io, and they even have a demo for Android. So if you're an Android phone user, you can try this demo on your phone. It's not currently out yet. It's scheduled for release on April 3rd of next year. And they describe themselves as a Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney kind of style game, except you play the judge, and you get to decide the results of the cases. And it seems like there's supposed to be some kind of like political implications. There we go. That light will make it better. Well, if you're an iOS user, you can still use the web version or the Steam version. So we are the judge for a courthouse that deals with like the aristocracy bringing charges against each other. And again, all I've done before is I've hit new game enough to see that there's like a visual novel style text and I can click through it. Beyond that, I have no idea what's going on in this, other than checking out like a few images on their Steam page. I see there's a poll: is the defendant guilty? Yes, no, cat boys are adorable. You can be both guilty and an adorable cat boy, just saying. But yeah, once again, thank you to the developers for giving me access to this, and if you want to check it out, you can check it out on itch.io, which runs in browser, Android, as well as Steam, and it's scheduled to be out April 3rd next year. Options. You can tell it's trying to be funny because they've got a whole thing for comedy sounds and like screen shake. We'll leave the tutorial on. You can play in Polish. Yep. Alright, so with that, we're going to start a new game. Our goal is to try and do one case of this, but we'll give it approximately an hour and see, assuming that they have an hour of gameplay available on the demo. As game developers, that's one thing I never see on most game demos, is how long is your demo. Loading bar is behind my face, it was just above me, so you guys couldn't see it. Two households, both alike in dignity, in fair Verona, where we lay our scene. Dang, I thought I was through with Shakespeare. An ancient grudge break to new mutiny, where civil blood makes civil hands unclean. It's got a nice, like, watercolor painted style. From forth the fatal loins of these two foes, a pair of star-crossed lovers take their life, whose misadventures pietous overthrows do with their death bury their parents' strife. Fearful passage of their death-marked love, and the continuance of their parents' rage, which, but their children's end naught could remove, is now the 2 hours' traffic of our stage. If you with patient ears attend, but here shall miss, our toil shall strive to mend. Dang it, Shakespeare. So the year is 1786, the year of the new book of Iriorora, capital of Aedlandria. I hope you guys know, if we get to choose if they're guilty or not, I'm using this poll to determine if they're guilty or not, if we get to choose. Okay, so I think this is our character, Adela. We'll see. We've got some stuff, so we can access the menu settings. And we've got knowledge. So we've got a feud between the Montaigne and de Capelle families. For the last nobility assembly, a fierce clash took place between the de Capelle and de Montaigne families have been enemies for centuries. The king ordered most of the family representatives to return home to prevent bloodshed. As well as we've got personas. We've got King Lionel Durex, who is our father, a war hero, and was made king by the nobility. Apparently got voted in. We kind of got like a noble democracy here, I guess. We got Julia de Capelle. She's one of the victims who arrived with her father for the assembly, accommodated on the ground floor of the guest house. We have Roman de Montaigne, one of the victims, arrived with his father. He's supposed to be his father, right? Also on the ground floor of the guest house. Everything will be fine. It's an important day, very important day. Everything will be fine. For sure, for sure. Been preparing for this since forever. You're ready. Oh, hi, little bird. Besides, Father will watch over everything, as always. I see you're a Disney princess. You can't argue with a judge who's also a Disney princess. It's like a rule. I see the winner is cat boys are adorable. Okay, so if the defense has anything related to cats, they are not guilty. If they don't have anything related to cats, guilty. So what could go wrong? Not like I'm in danger of unleashing a civil war that will make the Commonwealth collapse, the invaders overrun the palace, and everyone end up on guillotines making chop chop. That's a pretty good expression. Being stressed out into the bird, like, is looking at her like, girl, you need to relax. We're prepared. Last night you read. Wait, what did I read? Analysis, yes, analysis of Commonwealth proceedings. Conversion with erratum for page 187. It only took me 3 hours to find the erratum. Calm and composed, I repeat, calm and composed. Nothing to fear, you are calm and composed. Everything will be fine. Good. I see you are calm and composed, Adela. Of course I'm calm and composed. Even despite your tactless disregard of knocking on the door of the private chamber of a noble lady, Your Majesty. My most sincere apologies, Your Royal Highness. I must add that the servants told me just an hour ago that they'd finished tuning you up. But I understand. No matter how you look at it, of all men, only my future son-in-law has the right to use the body of the Almighty. Has the right to see the body the Almighty has bestowed you. Father. You also have a voice that would move mountains, but that's okay. It is essential that you are heard by everybody in the throne room. This day, you, Princess Adela de Rex, are going to uphold the law and order of the Commonwealth. The descendants of two noble families died tragically, and both their families are now demanding that the crown sway justice to their favor. I trust my successor will make the decision that is most right for the kingdom. He didn't say that was correct, just the most right for the kingdom. We lost our bird. My name is Adela de Rex. I am the rightful heir to the throne of the Commonwealth of Adelandria. According to our constitution, it is the duty of the crown to settle important disputes between noble families. Part of my preparations for the future assumption of the throne, my father, King Lionel de Rex, entrusted me with the settlement of one such dispute. He's never done this before. I don't know why I decided to do it just now. I've been taught about such hearings since an early age. I observed my father conducting them. Still, I find it hard not to worry. This week, Roman de Montaigne and Julien de Capelle died tragically in a guest house at our castle. The two families accuse each other of the deaths of their children. Our hateful neighbors are greedily observing our borders. That's why I must help my father and prevent bloodshed. Hence it is up to me to decide who is to blame for this crime, and bear all the political consequences of that decision. But if you choose the most middle for the kingdom? This literally sounds like Phoenix Wright courtroom sound. Noble citizens of the Commonwealth of Adela Andria, who declare the assembly of the royal court open. There are slightly more viewers in the room than I expected. The local nobility members, the townsfolk standing behind them. Is the crime at the palace so important to them? With stress, I fall down the stairs, break my back. I'll be spoon-fed for the rest of my life by servants who will encourage me to eat with a loud yum-yum. Maybe I'm not ready. Maybe it's better our father settle this. It's not too late to back out. Maybe I'll pretend to faint in. Okay. We have our first choice. Do we want to calm down or pretend to faint? What is most right for the kingdom? I've not seen Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. I've been trying to keep myself spoiler-free on that. Although I did see it's like on sale, I think for like really weird ones where it's like 38% off. Maybe that's just the Canadian one to match the US ones. Also, is the audio a bit better now? The microphone, that is? I made a slight tweak, and I'm not sure if it's better or not. Ah, I see. Okay, that's good. The one thing I hadn't done was the equalizer, which is very important, but also very hard, and it wasn't something I wanted to rush because I could have just as easily messed it up. Alright, we were trying to calm down before. Let's continue to try and calm down. Maybe I'll just take a few more deep breaths. Yeah, like I got everything done except for it. That was the one thing I was like, I can't rush that. We have assembled today to hear the case of Lord de Capelle and Lord de Montaigne. The said nobles are granted permission to appear before the throne. Will you assume your duty to help others at the expense of your well-being? Or will you take care of yourself and the privileges that come with it? Do you avoid hardships for freedom and pipe dreams, or do you do what is good for others? You fight for survival in a battle. Oh no. You can say one thing and do another. The three choices that follow will determine the truth. Only the latter choices will influence the story. Any beginning may trigger any end. You do have to start somewhere, don't you? Like, for instance, learning the rules. Lord Will de Capelle extends his warmest greetings to your Majesty and your Royal Highness. Lord Liam de Montaigne extends an even warmer greeting to your Majesty and your Royal Highness. Well, okay, they both have killer eyebrows. I love how their clothing and, like, everything from the neck down is just color swapped and mirrored. Their ear is the same, their nose is the same, the lines in their forehead and their eyebrows are the same. They haven't even greeted each other yet. They're already burning with the lust for murder. Poor me. Nevertheless, it is true that the two families have hated each other for years. Possibly father's authority is the only thing that still keeps them in line, and that means... No, stop thinking about it. Focus. Think of history. The account of the Commonwealth families by Lord de Nardon make reference to the hostility of the de Capelles and de Montaignes as soon as 1146. That's when it all started. They had a dispute similar to this one. hearing eventually inconclusive as to which family was responsible for the crime. You can learn so much from history. As your king, I bestow our deepest regrets on the recent deaths of the noble Juliana de Capel, noble Roman de Montaigne. As your princess, I also wish to express my sorrow for such a great tragedy. I haven't had a chance to see them. The families arrived at the assembly, after which I was told to return to my studies. During the assembly, however... Oh, we get to choose what we were doing at the time, so we could be accompanying father in learning, assisting our servants in arranging the event, meeting influential and prominent nobles, or just having fun and partying. How big of it do we want to be competent? The person that the people love who gets their hands dirty? Brown-nosing? Or a teenager? What kind of judge do we want to be? Teenager? Alright. Oh, the fun and joy. I had a great time with the noble youth. Those two never joined us. I totally don't understand why. Yes, that's what I was doing during the noble assembly, right? Yeah, I don't remember anything else because I was blackout drunk. Anyway, it's too late to get acquainted with Roman and Juliana. Verily, the kind words of His Majesty and Her Royal Highness do warm our despairing hearts. I agree with Lord de Capel. But it didn't seem like a custom-driven gesture towards the king. But there's a chance to find common ground after all. Lord de Capel and Lord de Montaigne, the crown stands ready to provide you with truth and justice in this event so tragic for both of you. We've decided that should be Her Royal Highness, Princess Alexa de Rex, who's to be entrusted with the responsibility of leading today's assembly. We, King Lionel de Rex, hereby restrict our own position to that of advisor to the crown. Everyone knew this would happen if they murmur in disbelief. Princess Alexa de Rex, Adela de Rex, we grant you permission to sit on the throne. Yes, Your Majesty, thank you very much for the honor and trust placed in me. There are some advantages. For example, I don't have to worry about collapsing into stress. Still, looking at the lords doesn't help at all. I remain silent, but are clearly displeased. It's evident. They don't want to bow to me. I don't have much to exchange here. I remind them of their dead children. The nobles are in pain. They despise me. They dare to look down on me. They're so skeptical about the substitution. I have to prove myself. Okay, so do we think that, one, they don't want to respect us, therefore there's no reason to talk to them? We empathize with their dead children. We're proud and they look down on us for being a child and probably a woman? Or no one really knows who we are because we are a teenager who they saw drunk at the party last night and they're like, huh, that's the person? We got a 4/1. I think I'm going to go with 1 on this one. Now, I take the throne only because Father wills me so. I take care of his legacy or I lose everything and live in poverty. Jeez. Okay. If I ever get to live, what kind of life would that be? Being a peasant? Like, that's no life. If you're not nobility, you're nothing. Ignore that peasant sitting in rows 3 through 20. That is how it was, yes. But we can go back and see. So let's actually see what 4 looked like. This matter is certainly important to them. This is my first time in the office. Must do my best and fulfill the duty I've been assigned. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, right? Yeah, that sounds like her. Title and noble blood will not win me a country which expects capable leadership. I have to prove to them that I'm qualified. Honestly, when I think of the case of the death of my child, oh, that auto skipped. I did not click anything. Order, please. I, Princess Adela de Rex, declare that the Crown is ready to hear from the Assembly. Are both parties ready to jointly present the substance of the dispute? Pursuant to the hearing order, both parties are required to communicate the facts and issues upon which they agree. Can you help me get familiar with the background of the dispute before I move on to those issues on which the parties disagree? Naturally, Your Royal Highness. Lord de Montaigne and I are ready to present the facts, and only the facts concerning this tragedy. The facts we are unanimous about. The cause of the conflict. I had to actually click through that. I was waiting for it to go. 3 weeks ago, I stayed with my family in a guest house next to the palace. I arrived for the purpose of the convention of the Assembly of Nobility. Lord de Montaigne did likewise. And at that early point, there was already a feud between your families. Not the reason why we ordered you to reduce the number of your delegations. There were no casualties. I don't know what would have happened if not for the quick intervention of the guards, and then everyone kept their eyes on both families. An unfortunate drunken altercation between in-laws, Your Majesty. Ultimately, that was the reason why we sent everyone away and remained with only our children. That's correct. The assembly was concluded a week ago, and we would have returned to our manners. The fact that I and Lord de Capelle were stopped by urgent matters. Because of that, we extended our stay in the capital. Indeed, and exactly 4 nights ago, the tragedy struck. The time we were in the guest house with our servants and no one else. This all happened late at night. I love how they fold their arms at the same time. And like, I just happened to meet Lord de Capelle on the stairs in the hall. Also a guardsman patrolling the area. He requested a plan of the premises to be drawn up, for clarity. Okay. Seems pretty straightforward. Yes, exactly what it all looked like on the ground floor. Shortly after we entered the guest house, the guest room is on the upper floor opposite the stairs. It's crucial for this case. Indeed, it was from that room that the furious shrieks of Miss de Capelle rang out. It was faintly audible, but it sounded as if you were murdering someone in a frenzy. No, as if she were murdered. Murdered. That is not for you to decide. Pardon, Lord de Capelle. We are hereby handing the guest house plan over to the Crown. Okay. Plan of the guest house. Which I assume is now in our knowledge. Yes. We click on it. Okay, it's exactly like Ace Attorney. And we now have the two of them. It's like literally the same face. Like, come on. Moving on, we ran with the guard upstairs to a locked room. That is correct. We were there with the guardsmen while the remaining servants were still gathering. Forced the door open and then we saw it. Our children dying inside, our children! My daughter Julian, and my poor daughter was laying on a bed with a dagger in her chest. The dagger belonging to nobody else but Armand de Montaigne. Her fragile life was fading before my eyes. Oh, Juliana. Okay. Died with the dagger stuck in her chest. Passed away on the bed in the upstairs guest house. Roman was dying too. He was lying on the floor and foam was coming out of his mouth. Poison! It was poison. Roman has been poisoned. I repeat, poisoned. Death was almost evaporating from the cup of wine he had dropped, confirmed by a learned medicine man. Okay. Our children died before our eyes. It's exactly the same. Conviction of both parties of their innocence. Exact same thing happened to the hearing that split their families. Exact same thing. The case was never solved. Father overlooked this, the fact that this is the same problem? Surely he must have received reports on the investigation process, yet no, we heard about the crime at the same time. He's reached the palace within a few minutes. I was at the library at the time, having a dispute with Father about a book I was in the middle of reading. The book that kept me focused so much that I lost track of time was called Defenders of the Woman, King Joan, Noble Virtues, Liberty, Equality, Fraternity, or Atlas of Ethical Egoism. What was our book called? This is really important. Alright, the Atlas of Ethical Egoism. Only in a free society can we be truly objective and think exclusively of ourselves while cooperating with each other, but only when we wish to do so. It was the book that got me interested. Yep, sounds right. Our beliefs are hedonistic, romantic, and egalitarian. Okay, thanks. I don't know what that, changes, but okay, I guess each of those choices we made. So hedonistic would have been the party. Romantic, I guess, is that second choice. I don't know how to define it. It's a type of rule, like a belief of how government and rule should be organized. Let's quickly to Google. It's been a long time since I've taken a course on civics. And not Honda Civics, not cars. Egalitarianism. The doctrine that all people are equal and deserve equal rights and opportunities, and based on our other personality, equal rights to party. We fully agree on one thing. It was a vile murder. Indeed, I dare say Morgulin de Capel poisoned my son, my Roman. Silence, or worm tongue, which your son murdered my daughter, piercing her delicate heart with a sharp dagger. Delicate heart, the black heart of the evil poisoner slain in an act of rightful vendetta. Rightful, the brutal murder of a poisoner caught red-handed who disgraced himself with a suicide to escape punishment. Noble gentlemen. My apologies, Lord de Montaigne. The time for judgment is yet to come. Are you a monster? Why do you think you're a monster? Because of our choices? Indeed it is. The essence of the whole argument is whose child is to blame for this tragedy. It's certainly not my poor Juliana. She would not hurt a flaw. I know Mr. Capel, an unusually delicate, young, and charming lady. Anyone who knew Roman will tell you he was a likable, charming, and sensitive young man. I concur, he was such a nice young man. I should have expected this. Not just the lords who are biased in this room. Nobles love making their opinions known wide. Members of this class are convinced that they know everything. And that's what running an office is supposed to look like? Seriously? Is that the reason I spend so much time studying? How I'd be to get on a horse and ride off towards the sunset like a common girl. How can you say that one before you're like, man, I couldn't be a poor commoner? Let me once again express my deepest condolences. It's an immense tragedy when a parent has to bury their own child. Crown thanks the Lord for presenting the substance of the dispute. Father, they're just shouting both are adamant in being right. You're preparing yourself to make responsible and difficult decisions, aren't you? In conclusion, the two lords met an hour before midnight in the hall on the stairs. Guards at the entrance confirmed it. Before proceeding further, Princess Adela Direct should take a closer look at the circumstances of the tragedy. Presume the noble lords now intend to call the captain of the guard as a witness, are they not? Actually, no, we both agree that Guardsman Eric Smith is best qualified to explain the matter. That is correct. Smith's competence was also confirmed by the captain of the guard. Furthermore, Eric Smith was the last person to see her children before the tragedy, safe and sound, that is. That is her will, so be it. Let Guardsman Eric Smith stand before the throne. I don't know who those people are. My greatest regards to your Majesty and Your Royal Highness. G2 guards and Smith. I'm very much treated. I mean, I'm very honored. What are you staring at like a magpie? Now you're placed in what? Yes, I'm bad with names though. Okay. I think I know who Mr. Sod is. I think... I'm not going to say anything in case people want to go play those. Yeah, he's who I thought he was. I get the pun now. I see it. It's been a long time since I played Phoenix, right? Probably at least like 5 or 6 years. Yeah, right. So, yes, my lord. Just say what you have to say already. Oh, of course, my lord. I don't seem to like him. Corruption says it's an ordinary tenant and been part of the guard for half a year. And our company's the only one without a title of him. So far, no one has complained about him. I've seen that guard once or twice from the palace window. Just goofing around off duty with the other guards, chanting silly songs, life and soul of the party. They forbade me to talk to the guards when my mother died. My grandmother persuaded my father to have the captain guard take strict control of my contacts with the service. She said that they only spread disease. She understood grandfather died before I was born, and then she lost her own daughter, and that's why she cares so much about me. Kindness, I will try to explain everything as best as I can. Only as much as your competences allow, that is it. Yeah, it is like that. If only Nintendo would allow for backwards compatibility in all their systems. I report I was doing my night patrol on the ground floor and I spotted 2 young people. Focus now on what happened when my daughter's scream rang out. Anyway, I was near the vicinity of the 2 lords when suddenly a shout rang out. I ran upstairs to the servants that happened when nearby came running in. And they were all guarding the room. Not a mouse could slip through. Not even a mouse, because apart from the windows, there were no other way down other than the stairs. On the stairs I stood, on my duty, watchful as a falcon. Yes, like eagle, falcon, divine hero, so on. Even the other servants were there. The stairs were guarded at the moment of the scream. And to escape from the scene of the crime, the perpetrator must have been... Is this... Slightly obvious if no one could leave the scene, and only one of the children could be the perpetrator. When confronted with the father to the fact that his child is a murderer, how would they deal with this? It was not long before news of what had happened reached us and Your Royal Highness. The same information was received by the captain of the guard. That's correct, Your Majesty. I asked one of the servants myself to fetch the captain, who was in the canteen at the time, winning this game of cards. I understand that nobody could have escaped down the stairs under watch, but I'm sure that nobody had been hiding upstairs. I think not, Your Royal Highness. Following the captain's arrival, the guards searched the entire floor and no one else was found. No one was supposed to be upstairs that night. All the guests left early. One of the lowest bed children left, right? Yes, the designated chambers on the second floor. And the windows. Both the windows could a potential perpetrator use them. He had been wondering about that too, Your Royal Highness. However, the windows in the room and the corridor could not be closed from the outside. And they were closed. A murder would have to be some sort of witch takes it this way. There's no point in considering this route. The circumstances dismiss the possibility of a third person being involved. How am I supposed to find a foothold? There's nothing here, nothing. No point to proceed from. Either child could be the killer. Any one of them could have brought the bottle. They could be like those ones where like you slide them up and then slide them down. Because then from the outside you could like pull it like this, but there'd be like a gap. Maybe. In such a situation, the conclusions are as follows. Lady Juliana was mortally wounded by Master Roman's dagger, and Master Roman himself was poisoned. This all happened while they were both alone behind closed doors. Yeah, I was gonna say, but if, like, you just murdered someone, like, you probably don't have time to like, sit on that 1mm lip and dig your nails in. With your permission, Your Majesty. My son's dagger proves nothing. Every nobleman in the Commonwealth always carries a weapon by his side constantly. And got his dagger. Please keep in mind the issues we're addressing now. New information is becoming part of your knowledge. The relevant knowledge involves such matters as the circumstances of Juliana and Roman's death. Wish to recall the details of the knowledge gathered so far, you can use the knowledge button. The presence of the dagger in the room is explained. The cup with poison remains a mystery. Has the type of poison been determined? It is Lawrence's potion, Your Majesty. The learned doctor said that just a small dissolved dose is enough for the victim to expire. It only takes a minute or two. Is it possible to determine how the wine in the cup is poisoned? Yes, Your Royal Highness. Found a broken bottle of poison traces on the floor between the victims. We agreed that the person who poisoned the wine must have used this bottle. Okay. Bottle line broken between the victims with no way of telling who used it. We understand that the wine in the cup came from the bottle in the guest room cupboard. Is there another cup of wine at the site of the death in the words? The offspring you didn't. Yes, Your Majesty, there's a partially empty bottle and a cup filled with wine on the table. There's been quite a number of evidence. Jeff and I prepared the plan of the scene. Alright. Some parts of knowledge are linked to additional documents. That link can be the details button. Probably nothing fits together here. There's no connection point. Literally nothing could have happened here. Alright, door to corridor. Balcony, chairs. I mean, is this not a door? Like right here? For the balcony? I'm sure as soon as I present it, they'll be like, that report's outdated. Here's my new report as of like 32 seconds ago. Didn't you know about it? Right, absolutely nothing, absolutely anything could have happened. But a problem for you? You can settle this matter any possible way. No resolution here. The truth cannot be determined. Determine the truth, you can always do that. The king, after all, and now, does Princess Durex have any questions about the crime scene? One thing puzzles me. One thing from the crime scene's unclear, and this issue hasn't been brought so far. What about the balcony? No one mentioned it. It looks like a good way to escape. The balcony's closed, no windows. Royal Highness, there's no way of escaping through it, otherwise it would remain open. Does Princess Durex have any other questions about the crime scene? Think we've overlooked something? Is this cup poisoned? Okay, what can we... The door was forced open, meaning it was locked. Where did the victims get the key? Yes, this is an interesting case, Your Royal Highness. It's probably one of the master keys. Most likely one of the two at the crime scene. We found one each by our dead children. 2 master keys. Each of the victims had their own. This is odd. Each of the servants in the guest house has their own master key and can open any door in the building. Exactly, Majesty. The deceased received their keys from the servants. The idiots minded their procedures. Our children would be alive. Together with the captain, we determined the identity of the 2 servants. They both claim it never occurred to them what breaking the rules could lead to. Okay, we got master keys. We plan to request that they be called as witnesses. However, Your Majesty, let's put aside the question of which child is the killer. Instead, let's assume that one of them planned to kill the other and figure out what they were going to use for that purpose. Poison, Your Majesty. Exactly, otherwise it would not be in the room. Already ruled that Master Demon then was carrying a weapon as befits nobleman, leading to Capel's scream prove that the dagger was not a silent weapon. Poison is a proof of a planned crime. On the other hand, the scream leading to Capel proves that the plan has failed and the lords have been alerted. Yes, with her last breath, Juliana made sure we found out about the crime. The screaming does not prove any innocence. Lords, do not say that we're putting aside the moment of question the identity of the culprit. Beware that your king takes all circumstances into account, and also that the murderer could be any of the victims. It wasn't through this and the subsequent elimination of possibilities that you always arrived at the truth. Did I reach the truth, or was I just being persuasive? I did arrive at the truth. Not able to convince anybody of it, it should still be true. So reach for the truth. Princess Durex has counseled the crown and suggests we now reflect on the killer's plans. Plans they certainly can want him to scream. Or anyone like the guards, for instance, knows their presence, quietly and secretly. That's how they want to administer the poison to the victim. But if everything went the way the murderer planned it, there would have been no shouting, no guardsmen. The lords would have never been alerted. Without this, the perpetrator could have easily left the upper floor room with the dead victim in the room. Exactly. Master de Monton was the perpetrator. He would not have left the dagger on the scene. Just because the victim, the dagger would stay by his side. What with the other items? What scene did the perpetrator want to construct to divert suspicion? Which 2 items would they have left? I don't fully understand what's being asked here. Left, so like what are red herrings? So if it was planned, the poison had to be in there, so I don't think it's 3. I think it's either the 2 or 4. Let's pick one of them. We have been at this for 45 minutes or so, but we did have audio issues. Making poison a cup of unpoisoned wine would help the perpetrator, Your Majesty. As a host, I would push the investigator to commit suicide out of desperation. Okay, so no. I'll check. Okay, it was 3. I was wrong. The perpetrator wanted to set up a particular scene. With a single key, everything would look like the person locked themselves in the room from the inside. Found the poison, would all add up to a suicide scene. The perpetrator wanted to convince everyone that the victim locked themselves in the room and took their own life. That was despicable. The killer wanted to make it look like suicide. I wouldn't be surprised if the victim chose an empty room. I do not know how the killer persuaded the victim to, but the victim did obtain a key and meet them in the empty room, not by the facts. So the killer also had a key. In this situation, after the murder, one of the children may have left the victim with their own key and a vial of poison in the suicide scene. On checking the keys, we will discover which of the servants missed their own one. The perpetrator would have returned the other one, assuming that the one who lent it did not squeal a word in fear for their head. Majesty, that sounds outright diabolical. If the killer's plan succeeded, we would have never discovered the truth. What depravity to devise and undertake such a plan. This is horrible. I shudder to even think of it. Order, please. We have aroused too much excitement. As I understand it, apart from Darth and Smith, no one else was aware of the fact that the young nobles had gone upstairs. So, he was asking if the perpetrator had their way, with all of the items there, what would they have left? And it was they would have left the poison and a key, and make it look like a suicide, that they went into this room, locked it themselves from the inside with their master key, and then drank the poison and died silently. No, Your Royal Highness. I thought that our children were in their rooms. His Majesty's conclusions concede with our conclusions after 3 days of investigation. Our children obtained the master keys and learned to secretly meet in the upstairs room, although and brought a vial of poison to the meeting. Yes, we do agree on that, both of us. We do, however, we differ on our belief as to which of our children brought the poison. And what actually happened behind the closed doors. I presume, noble lords, that the origin of the vial of poison has not been determined. While I'll have many opportunities to acquire poison, the perpetrator might as well have manufactured it themselves. So the murderer had a plan to conceal their crime, but they oversaw a witness who saw the couple coming up the stairs. They might have put it better, guardsman. There's an awful lot of tension between the lords and Eric. The princess of the Commonwealth of Adelandria has made a sufficient inquiry into the substance of the case that the lords have placed under her judgment. The noble died under ambiguous circumstances. Fathers accused each other's children of dazzling the crown to help for settling the case. Houses de Capelle and de Montaigne boast centuries-old traditions and have more than once proven their loyalty to the crown. The crown remembers and never forgets. The crown is basically a large elephant. sad. Therefore, that the mysterious tragedy seems to be the fruit of your similarly century-old feud. Eternal disputes almost doomed our Commonwealth once before. Among us are the children and grandchildren of those who died defending her. There have been incidents but not murders. This is the first time such an event has happened since Father took the throne. Noble families notoriously provoke duels, but Father managed to subdue them, mostly. Nevertheless, their hatred endured. It made me wonder if Rome and Juliana. According to the law, the case was referred to the Crown, which also feels shared responsibility since the tragedy occurred during the hospitality we have provided. For cause, noble gentlemen, for the memory and good name of your members and your illustrious families. We'll not discover what really happened behind the closed doors. But we will discover. We will not repeat a woefully inept process that began a feud that continues to this day. It's really a lot of promises made on my behalf. If I'm not mistaken, Guardsman Smith outlined the details of the incident. Karen now wants to hear each lord's individual view on the matter. Actually, let the boy tell the story of how he saw our children coming upstairs. Yes, it is, after all, very important. When noble lords further testimony may fall when the Crown becomes aware of the issues upon which you disagree. Then let us follow the procedures in place. Eventually both came to settle a dispute over the death of your children, did you not? Through the inexperience of life, your Royal Highness believes that such a matter can simply be unraveled by examining it through a magnifying glass. Precisely, the mere procedures ignore insights into the behavior of the participants of the event. I would think about procedures instead of feelings. What close-mindedness! What can one conceive in the face of the inconceivable? Can one see the truth with their eye only? I think I once met those chanting gentlemen at the courts of the Capelle and the de Montaigne. Father. What's going on here? Should not deny the public demands of those who are yet to discredit themselves. So will be. Noble lords. Guard, please tell us what you saw. Yes, your Royal Highness. I don't get it. We can interrogate the guardsmen and the rest of the witnesses later. Interview the Lord's private insights in the case, and all this theatrics. Both lords voice their anger, but still, hear common bitterness if they no longer believe that the search for truth had any meaning or significance. As if it didn't matter anymore. Okay, we've got testimony. Can I throw evidence in their face now? In my night patrol, the guest house, about 50 minutes before I heard the scream. I walked down the corridor towards the stairs and then I saw Madame de Capelle and Master de Montaigne heading upstairs. Both the couple for a very brief moment. They were turned away. They probably didn't notice me at all. Well, I continued my patrol. When I came back, they were gone. In their place stood the noble lords. Suddenly there was a shout of Madame de Capelle. Yeah, I expected that too, honestly. Adela, situations like this, the litigants give way to you in hearing. Father, I've watched enough of your trials to know what to do now. I can use the arrows to change parts of the testimony, and also question the witness with the inquiry button. It allows me to get the information I need from the witness. Beyond that, Adela? Beyond that, I can use the demonstration button to show off an inconsistency between a piece of my knowledge and a piece of testimony. Only. Can the guardsmen certify untruth? Just make no mistake or I'll lose my authority. Maybe the case is, so I'm going to give you a hint. But why the lords actually care so much about this particular testimony? And another one, use the council button. Testimony that the guardsmen saw the young couple before their deaths and did nothing. Okay. Maybe it'll end like right after this testimony, so it just showed off the interrogation functionality. Okay, so it looks like... Oh, you can't see... Counsel's right behind my head, as well as our authority, which is your incorrect answers. Inquiry seems like press. And then we can demonstrate knowledge, which is our objection. Explain. Sergeant Smith, I understand that you were performing your patrols when you rose from the captain of the guard, is that correct? Absolutely, Royal Highness. I was performing my official duties during my assigned watch. Thank you, Guardsman Smith. Thank you for your very enthusiastic reply. How at point did you spot the deceased? So I walked down the corridor towards the stairs and suddenly then to Capel. Master de Montaigne heading upstairs. Yes, we know the guest house. We heading for the stairs from the dining room side or the chapel side? From the chapel, Royal Highness. The couple arrived from the side of the dining rooms. Hello, Ager. How's it going? We're interrogating this guardsman. Okay, time to watch this camera not work, because of course it doesn't. It never works. There we go. I mean, I've told you exactly why this camera has problems. The back is not attached very well, the cable. You can literally see it coming in and out. So the only thing I've seen with this case, with his testimony, that was weird to me is, like, why were the two lords there already? It almost seems like they knew the murder was going to happen ahead of time. Just so that they could be on scene right at the start. And then the only reason why this testimony is useful to them is it puts them exactly here at the scene of the crime. So this one I have right now, I don't know that. My main camera, this one is a 720p 60 Logitech. Okay, let's take a look at this map. So the couple arrived from the dining hall side, so they came this way, and he was at the chapel side. Okay. I guess they met there earlier before they went upstairs. I understand, Guardsman. You think the couple could have spotted you at that point? I saw the couple for a brief moment. They were turned away, so they probably did not notice me at all. Are you sure about this? They both had not seen you? I'm more than sure of the fact the sun rises after the moon, that they would have reacted if they'd seen me, Your Royal Highness. They've looked at me, done something. It's quite poetic, as for him. Tell us how the couple behaved. I saw them for maybe 2 or 3 seconds, Your Royal Highness. Going upstairs, silent, like a graveyard. Shooting himself in the foot. Went upstairs, I resumed my patrol. I continued my patrol. When I came back, they were gone. In their place stood the noble lords. Suddenly there was a Made into Capel.
Explain.
You resumed to patrol like nothing happened? Yes. What is this face? This is my duty after all. I'm patrolling the ground floor. Yeah, we're gonna keep digging around. Guardsman Ericsmith, everyone was aware that you had the opportunity to react in some way to the presence. Given a couple, given the late hour, for instance. Good chance that if you had done so, no one would have died. Why did you ignore the situation? I blame yourself for having not reacted then, Your Royal Highness. This tragedy was hard to predict. Seeing nobles together, it's not a reason to be alarmed. I saw nothing wrong with it, or threatening, or feud-like. I haven't seen the State of Play one yet. And by see, I mean read a summary. From the Nintendo Direct, everything else was meh. Tales of Symphonia Remake, it's been done a few times, but if more people can get their hands on that wonderful game, that would make me happy. Ateli Ryza 3, well, I haven't played one yet, I do have it. And if that's a good series, which I think it should be, based on everything I've read about it, that would be exciting. Breath of the Wild 2, well, Breath of the Wild was not even close to one of my top, 3 Zelda games. For sure I'll be playing it. I have played a good amount of Harvest Moon ones. I've kind of grown out of it. It gets to the point where it gets too repetitive for me. That's the problem I have with most of those kinds of games, is it's okay, you wake up, you do this farming, you water, you go give this specific present to this person at this time, and so on. It just gets too repetitive for me. I do totally get if you just like zoning into that, having that kind of structure. For sure, I can definitely see why people would like it. I just need a little bit more variety in it. You say so, Guardsman. We understand you're adding this statement to your testimony, correct? Well, during the hearing, the parties are allowed to interfere. In this situation, your decision does not affect the course of the events. At most, change the way the lords are perceiving you now. They will not remember that. Really. Reason why the lords care about these testimonies. Guardsman, finish your statement, please. Yeah, I saw the Fire Emblem. I know my brother's gonna love that. I see. You just need Farming Simulator, then. It into Capel went upstairs to Master the Monk 10. I saw nothing wrong with it, or threatening, or feud-like. So it's recommending I click on Council. So let's see what Council does. Oh, I don't know what to do. The lords are hostile to each other, but they share a common goal. Despite his opportunity to do so, the Guardsman did not prevent the death of their children. Promising the poor man won't really accomplish anything despite his obvious error. The trust we must demonstrate before the lords. Just take initiative. Okay, so we need a piece of knowledge and a contradictory piece of testimony. too industrial and tedious. Also, a bit of nervousness, an obvious blunder. Can't do anything. We won't stop Lord from pointing out this mistake. Alright, so at this point, I think we're supposed to have something we can do. Is it just that he said feud-like and there's a feud between them? Is that literally all this is?
Incorrect.
Guardsman Eric Smith. Yes, I know the families are at odds with each other! Good. Should have said something, catch their attention, maybe the murderer would have given up then. Saw two noble families from young nobles from feuding families. I did not see this as a reason for despair, but hope. Excuse me. The Capel and the Mountain families are loyal to the crown, but they conflict with each other. True, they fight, sometimes kill one another. I believe with all my heart that their disputes were to finally end, the Commonwealth would gain a lot. When I saw two young people together, I took it as a testimony to the reconciliation that was approaching like the rising sun. After all, middle of the night and two young people just kind of comes to mind, right? I didn't want to spoil the secret romance of a couple in love. So the young couple is in love with you? Defy logic. Logical observation goes in. Are you implying we raise our children to sin and having extramarital affairs? No, I just thought that. Lord de Capel. We thought nobles would mate like common rabble. Our children died because of you. Those who are thinking to not let this tragedy happen would not have happened if you had reacted. You've let us all down. You should pay the ultimate price for it. The heck is this? What's going on? They shouted words at him and the words hurt him. They craned his head after just one. Even unfortunately not. How they were expecting to suggest that one of their children could be a murderer. Events have taken an unfortunate though predictable turn. Predictable, father. Something like this has never occurred during your hearings. It should not have taken place, not before the people, not before me, not before... You know what? That actually happened. Not able to successfully prevent such turn at a time when you were learning to walk. Those are noble teachers and book authors failing to prepare you for the pettiness of the noble class. That guardsman is a fool. The fool is telling the truth, I'd say. God knows what these upper-class twits are up to in the cannon's grab. Temptress wound slowly spreads to our audience as well. In the midst of a heated dispute, people tend to lose their tempers in these situations, get it under control. The guardsman's not defending himself. Only is a dutiful one, not being primarily rude, he was in a lost position anyway. Start by pointing out to the lords that their insults are necessary. Notice by clicking on their inappropriate lines. Remember, your voice bar must be full. Just be careful not to question their legitimate arguments this way. You will undermine your own authority by doing so. Okay, this is more like a Danganronpa mini-game now. Why is chaos here as well? There's a chaos bar. We have to restore order and bring chaos under order. We'll give this like 5 to 10 more minutes. Okay, so I have to click on anything that's irrational. understand your opinion suffering such behaviors I'm becoming with you. So, insulting me is inappropriate. I'm not changing the fact that you should have said something. I think you can just get away with it. Our children are dead because of you. I'm very sorry, I really am, with all due respect. The Lords are changing your strategy. That hasn't been fully brought to order, though. Start to look like some fools. Others right about the Lord, they're stupid, old, and stuck up. How long are we going to tone this poor guardsman? Like arguments, that doesn't mean that they'll be right. It's a good chance. They will present agitated state, they will contradict themselves. Use it. Determine the contradiction in their words for words and use the cursor. This is like an exact Danganronpa gimmick. Just like copy-pasted. Okay, it looks like we have to get the right shade. Have to grab this one now? I don't fully understand. There we go. Forgive me, noble lords, but I do not understand. Should the guard speak to the nobleman, or is that too much of an insolence? Please make up your mind. I fail to comprehend your position. That was a little bit confusing. I didn't realize partway through that it changed what I had grabbed onto. I would not dare speak to a nobleman unprompted. Would you have to silence him like that? At least I did something. What about you? You of all people dare blame me?
Silence!
Idle bickering has gone on far too long. Call to order, noble lords. We humbly apologize, Your Majesty, Your Royal Highness, for our behavior, because of the grief and loss. Yes, was the grief and loss we let our emotions get the best of us. There are times wasted on scapegoating criminals interested in the perpetrator. However, we do not deny the magnitude of losses both lords have suffered. We understand the bitterness your apologies have been accepted. Lords, to tell the truth, I had a chance to prevent what happened. Nobody can turn back time, guards, and all that remains is to live with our decisions. We all make mistakes. For example, if magic could have calmed the lords earlier. Impudent. The Lord's force graced words to our men with the moment of his friendly remark towards the king, or man. Refuge his apologies, Guardsman Smith, for not coming to the defense sooner. Father's not joking, acknowledge his mistake, his behavior is inappropriate. The king, he doesn't have to do that, but still he can admit being wrong. And all rulers were like that. Why didn't he act early? He wanted to do the crown's duty, regardless of the consequences? You leave, Eric Smith. Actually, Royal Highness, I wish this case ends well for everyone. More importantly, it has to end quickly. But I think it's going to end very quickly, because I think that's where we're going to call this game. Decent. Little bit like here and there, like in that last mini game where you had to find the contradiction, hold it, and cast it. That was a little bit confusing. Other than that, well, we're gonna go through. Based on what the start said, it said this would be about 2 hours long. So I think we're only about halfway through this. And if it's like true Ace Attorney fashion, none of them are the killer, and it's like someone else. Like the guard's secretly the killer, or the fathers are the killers, something like that. Or the servants. But yeah, solid game. Like I said, still in development. It's slated to come out April 3rd of next year. That guy in the red top hat, yeah, right front and center, it's this guy. But yeah, solid game, I think. I don't know how much it's supposed to be. It didn't have a price in Steam. Yeah. Something to maybe keep your eye on.